Morning, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School, and I'm out here on the Pathfinder School property. And I spent part of the day yesterday with a buddy of mine, Ty Barker, and his son, setting up this wall tent that is 10 feet by 12 feet. And it's by walltentshop.com, I believe is the name of their website. And if I said that wrong, I'll put a link to it in the description box of this video. But I set this wall tent up, number one, because we have a winter course coming up, a winter skills course coming up in a couple of weeks here. And I wanted to set up a good example of an outfitter style tent that you would use in the winter, how to maintain the stove, how to maintain the tent itself, how to set that thing up for winter use, for hunting, for camping, and those type things. And so I'm beginning to set the inside of this thing up now. So this is really not a review of the wall tent itself. I just want to make a short series here of a couple different things, and we'll do some overnighters in this tent and some cooking in this tent, things like that. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you a couple things I'm using and setting up in here for accoutrements. And anything that's a little tip or trick, I kind of wanted to throw a separate video out on that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a rope gun rack. Let's talk about that inside the tent. All right, so as we get this thing set up, we've got our stove, we've got a stack of firewood, we've got a couple tables in here, we've got a cook partner stove in here, so we have propane to cook on in case we don't want to fire up this wood stove just for no reason, only cooking alone, when it takes a lot of wood to fill that thing up and get that thing going. With a propane stove, it's quick and dirty. So it's always good to have a second source to be able to cook with, and then an outside fire doesn't hurt anything either, and we've got that as well. However, again, you got to feed that wood, whereas a propane stove is going to be more efficient for cooking quick meals and things like that. We've got some cookware hung up. We've got a bed in here, just a nice big Coleman cot with the Pathfinder bedroll in it, so we can take that bedroll and go if we want to, and leave the tent for the night to go on a hunting trip or something like that. We might stay out overnight and come back. All that stuff's in here. And we would just take things from the tent on the go. That's kind of the way you would work that. You'd have everything in here you would need to not only sustain yourself for a week or more if you were going to stay out in an outfitter's camp, but if you were going to walk away and go on a hunt somewhere and possibly spend the night, then you'd want everything in here that you would need to do that with, so you can just collect bits of this and that and the other thing and take it with you. Now, that's really not the purpose of this video, so that's getting a little bit more long-winded than we need to get. I want to give you guys a better tour of the inside of this tent as we go, as I get things finished up. But I've got poles. This is a solid frame tent, and it's made with like 1-inch conduit, for lack of a better word, and connections that make a framed wall tent. So it's very, very sturdy. It's not light. It's going to take at least a side-by-side to carry this thing in, or a trailer on a four-wheeler, something like that. You probably wouldn't even get this in one of those Viking sleds. It would take more than that to get all of this stuff in, because the stove itself probably weighs close to 100, 110 pounds, all said and done. Now, on these poles that are in here, the conduit pipes, you can hang things from these. And obviously I take advantage of that for several different reasons. What we're going to do today is we're going to make a rope gun rack where we've got a place to hang a couple guns in here to keep them up off the floor, not leaning against something, but keep them neat and tidy up on a side wall here, and give ourselves a rack for those guns. So let's talk about that today. So you can see all I've done is take a couple of pieces of rope about 10 feet long, and I've ran them over the top of this piece of conduit. Now, it's easy enough just to turn an overhand knot in a piece of rope just like this, and we can put guns in here, not a problem. Easy, simple Simon solution for a gun rack. However, the more guns you have hanging on this thing, the more difficult it's going to be to get them out from in between this, because the pulling pressure down is going to close these up. So we want to create a shelf in here, per se. And we can create that shelf with rope the same way you would make a rope ladder if you weren't using wooden rungs. And I'm going to show you that knot today in this video. All right, so all we're going to do with this rope is we're going to make an S shape basically in the rope, just like this, where we want to start. We're going to take the other side of that rope and we're going to set it inside this S, just like this. And then we're going to take that tag line and we're going to wrap around the inside and over the top. And however many wraps you put here is going to give you the width of that step or the width of that shelf. So we're going to go for shotguns and small caliber rifles. We're just going to go with 4 wraps. And on the 4th wrap around, we're going to take that tag end through the loop and drop it down just like this. Now we're going to pull this to dress it up, pull this direction, and just dress our knot down. And now we have a shelf we've created here that we can set something on instead of just a knot. And we could widen that by how many wraps we put in there if we were making something like a rope ladder. And so now we just have to match that here and then match it down one more to hang 2 guns in here comfortably. So again, we're going to take this rope and we're going to make an S. We're going to lay this rope over the top just like this and come around, and we're going to wrap this direction over the top so that we're going toward the opposite end. And again, we'll make 4 wraps, and the 4th wrap when we come around, we're going to go through this eye right here. So we'll go ahead and shore that up a little bit now. Drop it through that eye, and then we will dress everything up good. Okay, so now we've got 2 of them evened up. Now we can put 1 gun on here, and if we put 1 more here, then we got a place for a small caliber rifle and a shotgun. And once you start this, you can kind of adjust things. You can get yourself a side-by-side comparison here to see where you're at. And if you have to choke up a little bit, you can just bring that whole thing up a little bit and adjust it around from the very beginning so that you've got your height right. On our last wrap, we're going to come down through the eye there and pull that tight in, just like that. Let's see where we're at now. See, we're a little bit longer right there. We can adjust that. It's not nothing to have a heart attack about. All we need to do is push this eye out a little bit, open that up, and we're just going to need more follow through right there. So we'll just push this through and follow it around. We'll push that through just a little bit. We'll twist that all the way around and follow it down. Just if you, you're kind of like you're making a monkey fist where you've got to follow your way around the line to get things shored up the way you need them. Okay, so now you can see you got a shelf there. It sits right in the stock of that gun. It moves back and forth here on the barrel. So nothing's going to get jammed in here no matter how much weight we've got pulling down on it here by multiple guns. Nothing's going to get pinched. It's going to be easy to get in and out of there just by lifting it up and sliding it out. Very, very easy, okay? That's kind of exactly what we're looking for right there. All right, something that's going to hang just nice and even inside the wall tent. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate you joining me out here today for a quick video out here at the wall tent. We're going to make a series on this thing, and it'll have several videos within it. I'm not sure what I'm going to call the series yet. Heck, I've made so many of these things, I don't even know where to start. But I appreciate your views, and I appreciate your support. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.